good evening or morning or afternoon, Speed Gaming, and welcome to the round of 16 playoffs of the Super Metroid Randomizer multi-category tournament for 2022. I am one of your commentators, Count Cranberry. I'm joined in the booth by Vincent RTA, and we are going to be seeing this round of 16 match of Diddy versus Nevdi. Vincent, how you doing? And what do you think of this match?
I am super excited. Getting in the top 16. We had 7 weeks of great Swiss. Watching a lot of matchups where even runners who maybe were less experienced, we're seeing their levels get higher and higher and higher, and then become the quality of runner has went up immensely. So now that we're in this top 16 and we're any one of the top 20, 30 guys could be in this grouping. So to see them run in this top 16 is going to be super exciting. And this format, we got week 7. So get your trackers ready, get your thinking caps on, because everything is random. We are full countdown, random area start as we start in Red Tower here. All the bosses are random. Everything is random. So, and a full area rando. So this is going to be a lot of work for them mentally to progress through this. See already they can't open that bottom door. They're going to have to figure out where that first natural pickup is going to be to get super missiles to get through there, and they're going to have to get through some fun areas with only one tank.
Yeah, and I mean we are morph ballless at this point, so our runners are gonna have to figure out exactly where to pick up that morph ball. And with random area transitions, who knows where these portals might take them? So we are gonna see this first random transition here at the top of Red Tower, and let's see where it goes. Lava dive, not somewhere you want to be without Varia or any item at all.
I mean, it's good to find the area, and we see the lower Norfair has, what was that, 3 items? And let's just talk about that real quick. So in case you haven't seen these yet, on the top left-hand corner, we see Red Brie, which is short for Red Bryn. So we're gonna see in each area. That means that's the number of major items that are contained in that area. It means it could be any one of the items that are in that area. So this could be in Spazer. This could be in X-Ray. It could be just any of those Red Bryn locations. Oh, and criteria is stacked with 5.
And one of the little nuances of a random start is that you can find suits in criteria. Normally, with a normal start, you would not be able to find suits; they'd be restricted. But with random start, criteria can have them. With 5 items, there's a good chance one of them is a suit. The odds are in favor of it.
And that would be a huge find this early. I mean, as we see these runners still running without morph ball, no major items picked up yet, and we are a couple minutes in. That's a little abnormal for these. Usually they have something by now. But I think this easy connection to criteria might give us something down here in vanilla pickup areas, the early vanilla pickup areas.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if Morphball wasn't down here. It'd be a particularly cruel trick to have this transition not pan out for our runners, and for the other accessible transition to have it.
At the same time, I've seen this. Hey, there it is. Morph ball in vanilla. Is this even randomized? All right. But this is because of this full countdown. We're gonna see some checks we might not normally see. It's very likely, if the runners get power bombs down here, there's super missiles. If they find power bombs down at the end, that they're going to check Billy Mays while they're here, because that's 2 of the locations those majors could be. Not something you see checked a lot in these randos, but this category calls for it.
Yeah, it's always interesting because with all of these different randomizer settings, because the various weak settings can definitely affect what checks you make, where and in what order. So unfortunately no power bombs, so whatever items are up at Billy Mays are going to remain hidden from our runners for a little while longer at least.
Yeah, that also means the runners can't check the meme route exit right now, which is one of the random area locations. So that's going to remain a mystery for a while.
Yep, and that's one of the good things and drawbacks to full countdown is you can see that number 4 up in the left-hand side of your screen, and anytime you have to abandon a check or orphan it, you're wondering, did I just leave Very behind? Did I just leave Gravity behind? You know, so there's a definite risk reward to checking full countdown items.
Yeah, I've definitely seen some runners just make the choice when there's like one item left in the area just to abandon, especially depending on the number of items it is. And you never know if that could have been that charge beam you're looking for, or if that was finally Gravity, or, you know, one of those last puzzle pieces you needed to finish.
Those our runners are making every check they possibly can in criteria. Let's maybe talk a little bit about the matchup itself. Nevdi, the number 1 seed in the playoffs, undefeated in Swiss rounds, versus Diddy, 16 seed here. So I'm kind of wondering, you know, in the way the rules are set up, the runner who's higher seeded gets to pick the weak settings that gets chosen. So Nevdi had the option to pick what weak settings were used and deferred to Diddy. So with Diddy choosing week 7, I'm kind of wondering, you know, what do you think about that choice, and how do you think that plays into the strategy of this matchup?
Well, that definitely tells me where Diddy's comfort zone is. I also think it has a lot to do with, because it's so random, that, you know, it could lead to Diddy making a different route choice and being able to find the major items that are major items before Nevdi, and eliminating some of that runner's advantage that Nevdi has more often than not.
Yeah,
So
for sure. If Diddy sees or, you know, perceives a movement advantage on Nepti's part, picking a seed that has more randomness would likely give him a slighter better chance.
So in case there's anyone that's just new to the whole idea of these multi-categories of these randomized tournaments, so instead of playing the vanilla Super Metroid, items are shuffled around in different places in these randomizers, and the areas, instead of being in their vanilla locations, are shuffled all over the place. Even the bosses aren't in the normal places that you go fight them at. So the runners are in a race to find the items they need to be able to complete the game. So either the charge beam and plasma, or spazer to be able to do enough damage to the bosses, or really even just the charge beam will do it, or enough super missiles and missiles. But also, in some cases, they're going to need either gravity or ice beam, or just some of the items for movement required in areas, and they'll make it possible to maneuver and make it possible for them to finish, go find Mother Brain and kill and win the game.
Yeah, and speaking of those movement items, we're almost 8 minutes in, and we haven't seen any kind of explosive or block breaker. So no
Yeah,
speed booster, no screw attack, no bombs, no power bombs. It's really kind of limiting the amount of checks that our runners can make. Normally, you'd see the left side of criteria after checking all those criteria locations, but nothing so far.
yeah, the seeds being very difficult and tight. Oh, now we see Nevdi finding those power bombs, so that's a big bonus that opens up a few areas that are currently closed off. Also allows for some just checks that wouldn't necessarily been there before. Uh-oh, did he taking some serious damage from that crawler?
Yeah, with no suits and no E-tanks, those things don't mess around.
No, and that's another reason why the suits are so important, like especially when you get to an area like Lower Norfair, where one hit can do two tanks of damage easy. That's another thing we haven't found yet, is E-tanks, and that's actually one One of the things I noticed a lot in full area or full countdown, the E-tanks are typically hard to find. We see one of the other majors in criteria was grapple beam at the back of Gauntlet.
So that brings the outstanding major count to 3 that we know about. Diddy taking a different routing choice, deciding to go back up Red Tower rather than go down like Nevdi did. Doesn't look like it really paid off. Found a couple more supers, found the transition to the Croc entrance to lower Norfair, decided not to take it. With only 99 energy, that's probably a smart play.
Right, even having a reserve tank, it's still just not enough.
And really, you can't access Bubble Mountain anyway without power bombs. So it would be futile.
We are going to see Spacer checked again. I think that was just another super pack. Yeah, so nothing exciting there.
Right you are. Nevdi still on the hunt for those criteria majors. Not finding those majors at Terminator or at 230 missiles.
Have either one of them checked the moat? Because that's another location it could be.
Nevdi is not.
Okay, because that's still considered criteria. And that's one at least worth checking, because you can get it and still get back, even if you don't have other movement items.
It looks like Nevdi's going to be checking the mushroom transition. Diddy fighting the 1 block wide jump boss. Nevdi finding the top of Green Brinstar. And it's always awkward when you come into a new area, especially one that's kind of dense with checks like Green Brinstar is, and only one major. You know, that's a lot of checks and a lot of potential time loss if you don't find that item right away.
I think this is an area where I've seen a lot of single one items and a lot of runners more or less ignoring Green Bryn because of it. We do see Nevdi grabbing the first E-tank.
Gonna be a little more comfortable, and a reserve tank.
So that's 4 tanks. That's just enough to potentially get across. Head over to Bubble Mountain.
Yep, and both of our runners do now have power bombs, so opens up most of the game for them. They've got all of their ammo keys for the doors, so to speak.
Ooh.
And that one item in Green Brinstar turned out to be required, or at least a big one. Berry suit right there. So I imagine Nevdi is probably going to be piecing out of Green Brinstar pretty quickly and looking for one of those Norfair transitions.
100%. No reason to stay here at all with that find.
And yet, Nevdi defies our reasoning and decides to make some of these other minor checks. Oh, nope, just filling up power bombs.
Good farming location. A quick farm.
Not too far behind.
Oh, look at Diddy. Isn't going to waste time with any other checks. Well, immediately finds us in Green Bryn. That's big for Diddy.
And also making the check in the door, going to be rewarded with
the E-tank in reserve. Yeah. We see Nevdi found another E-tank, and that's a location I would guess if Diddy's going to head down that way, that he will check as well, just because it's right there. And some of the miners are still worth grabbing, because at this point, with the number of supers they have and the number of missiles, they've got Ridley ammo pretty much. We've seen people with super low Ridley ammo make things happen.
Yep, for sure. And I mean, a 1 to 2 tank Ridley fight, it's not super comfortable, but at the same time, these are the top 16 runners. So, I think we can expect a little bit more out of them.
Nevdi is now checking that entrance to meme route, bringing us back to this red tower entrance. And now the other side of meme route.
Oh, that's really good routing, because now he's going to be able to check Billy Mays without having to do a transition down and transition up. That's really good routing on Nevdi's part.
Yeah,
Let's see if Diddy does
that
the
was
same.
extremely fortunate, and Diddy is going to get this E-tank, as predicted. And here it comes. And Toasty Totes is probably not in the room to give us the Billy Mays meme.
Really, at this point, our runners have the tools to beat and escape 3 out of the 4 bosses.
Baser, okay. And another E-tank, because we see the first item and the second one is hidden. Good old Billy Mays. Oh wait, there's more. Yeah, that routing was extremely fortunate for Nevdi. Now being able to find that Spazer being now has really been able to narrow down where those other majors are. Knows where Grapple is on the backside of Gauntlet. So the other two are either front side of Gauntlet, power bombs, the criteria power bombs, or the moat.
Climb supers is another potential spot.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, the nasty spot that nobody likes to think about or talk about.
No, that's one we just do not talk about, because we never want a major to be there.
And of course, in the sea it's going to be something like gravity, something ridiculous.
Of course, they're going to have to come back for. Or we're going to see Suitless Meridia, which is also fun. But Diddy found the same routing, so it just feels like Diddy's just kind of chasing Nevdi's route right now. But I think that's partially just what the speed is giving these runners.
Yeah, I think there has been some good information and good checking on the runners' parts, and so they've had the same kind of level of information, and they made the same choices, which is probably the best choices they've had available at the time.
As Zeb is pointing out, though, Diddy has a little bit more info, and that is every bit as important, just to knowing what is where, and just some of the item checks. It's precious seconds that make all the difference in this.
Yep, for sure. Diddy is going to be able to potentially rush back to the top of the top of Red Tower from that transition in Crab Shaft, which will put him right next to Upper Norfair, which Nevdi doesn't know about.
Yeah, that's that information advantage that can be huge. So we'll see what happens. I mean, it's why these are exciting, because just a couple of different choices, just a little piece of information is so huge.
I am curious what Nevdi's next play is after he finishes checking Gauntlet. Knowing what Nevdi knows, what would your next play be? Where would you head?
Well, he saw at least one Norfair entrance and has the Varia. Saw that Croc entrance in Norfair, right?
I don't think Nevdi's seen it.
I do think Zeb's right about this. He probably goes to Moat. And you know what? I don't know if I'd go to the backside and Gauntlet knowing it's just grapple and missiles, but he's gonna go.
Grapple's away out of Dragon. I mean, it's tough without high jump boots, but that would technically give Nevdi the tools he needs to get all 4 bosses.
Well, and Nevdi is the kind of runner that can make that play with the high jump boots. And it's also a way across Moat, as Zep is mentioning, and it's a faster way to kill Dragon. So, yeah,
Yeah, that's a solid pickup for Nevdi for sure.
Diddy's now doing this 230 missiles, they aptly named because in the 100% route, this is the last set of missiles you pick up, which is normally a 230th missile, but as we can see in this randomizer, it is super missiles. Yeah, this chat pointed out, so here we are 30 minutes in, or 20 minutes in.
You know what? I
And,
never put that together, that's why they're called 230 missiles. I assumed it had something to do with a timestamp in one of the runs, but
oh,
never actually put that together. So that's a little piece of trivia I'll file away for future use.
you know, I watched Shiny Zenny go from his 115 to the world record over the course of, like, he was running 1535s, and it was, you know, really, you know, amazing watching, and just watched him drop it down to that 12-minute mark, which no one could even, like, there was no way anyone thought what he's pulled off was possible. Ooh, big find for Nevdi. Those high jump boots makes so many areas more easily accessible, especially navigating lower Norfair. That's definitely an item when you don't have it, you feel it when you're moving around in this game.
Yep, for sure.
But just quickly finishing what I was saying, I watched those 100% runs enough to see that turn into the 230th missile.
Several times, I imagine.
Oh yeah, because I realized I'm coming up on 3 years sub.
Nevdi, seeing that single chamber transition, deciding to opt out, has a little bit of hesitation.
That just wasn't sure there. Is gonna go to the top of Red Tower.
Yep, looks like Nevdi's trying to fill in those gaps in information. Oh, Diddy resets out of Gauntlet. Must not have seen the back of Gauntlet to know that Grapple is there.
I do not remember seeing Diddy checking backside, or he just doesn't care about grabbing Grapple.
I mean, even if Diddy knows it's Grapple, you know, he might be comfortable with CWJ to get across moat. And we'll be happy to find high jump boots here shortly.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is a phenomenal movement item. Oh, Rithrin in chat saying that he did check it and still decided to reset out, and that, you know, and the part of that may just be wanting to, knowing it's back there, knowing it's going to take a lot of time, and taking that risk of going, you know what, I probably need to make some risky plays to stay ahead of Nevdi, or
Yeah,
to get ahead and stay ahead of Nevdi.
Yeah, when you're playing a player of Nevdi's caliber, you do have to, you know, make some calculated risks.
Yeah, when you're talking about the player that didn't lose a single match in that 7 weeks of Swiss. Oh, and looks like X-Ray is the major in Red Bryn. So Nevdi can easily check that one.
I was gonna just say accessible easily with Grapple Beam.
Diddy would have to do the grappleless X-Ray, which is not an easy trick to perform, but one I really enjoy watching.
Can you do that with just, yeah, I guess you can with high jump boots.
I've seen so many runners actually pull that off. It's incredible.
Yeah, early X-ray is a treat.
Back down Red Tower.
Yeah, Nevdi likely knowing that major is at X-ray, and with, you know, Grapple Beam, he's got the tools to see what it is.
I think this does mean Nevdi right now is slightly ahead.
Yeah, and depending what is here at X-ray, that lead could go from slight to considerable.
Yeah, this might just be This could just be like spring ball and not really make that big of a difference. But it's space jump.
I mean, space jump, finding it kind of this early in our exploration, there's a lot of movement left. Diddy logicked out that X-Ray must hold the major and knows that grapple beam is there, so going back for it.
So the bonus of space jump is getting rewarded with space jump at the back of X-Ray is the escape is much easier than the entrance.
Nevdi flawlessly flying through X-Ray room. I always take a hit from one of those waivers trying to space jump across there.
Oh, especially not having screw attack, 100%.
Nevdi probably going to the ship to refill before heading over to single chamber. That'd be my guess, but you never know. Might be checking bombs up here too, the power bomb location.
I would also take the save just for the confidence. And yeah, is going to check the criteria points. Huge fun. Charge beam means he's ammo go mode right now.
Yep, Diddy has Nevdi has pretty much all the tools in his tool belt to finish the seed right now.
Yep, could potentially execute a suitless Meridia, which is I almost kind of hope we get to see because it's such a thing of beauty. What we haven't seen so far, we haven't seen back of Lower Norfair. We haven't seen the entrance to Kraid. We haven't seen really great ways around Meridia yet. So, or have we seen an entrance to wrecked ship yet?
We haven't seen Turian, wrecked ship. We haven't seen any Meridia. We've pretty much just been in Criteria, the 2 Bryn Stars, and just a hair of the Norfairs.
Yeah, so this has been like, and but now Nevdi is now up there in bubble with 4 items in Upper Norfair. Okay, that's not a huge. I mean, it's a large area, but it's not so large that you can't quickly traverse through this whole area.
Yeah, with high jump and space jump, you're feeling pretty good about your movement.
He's gonna grab the spring ball. I don't blame him.
Yeah, I mean, if Suitless Meridia is even potentially on the table, spring ball makes several tricks much easier.
Yep, spring ball is one of those surprise items that, you know, if you don't have gravity to do a gravity jump and you have spring ball, there's so many areas. And yeah, Zeb is right. If a runner knows crystal, suitless crystal flash clip, this is 100% go mode because this is the way past Batoon. But Diddy is now going to go across here, across X-ray, and going to grab this space jump. Ooh, okay. Nevdi gets screw attack to go with that space jump.
That's really going to make Nevdi's Lower Norfair much more comfortable. You know, you kind of want one of 2 things. You want plasma or you want screw attack, just to make the key hunters, you know, behave and just make your run feel that much more comfortable. And I say you. These runners probably don't need either of those items to be comfortable. I most certainly do.
100% agree. At the same time, even for them, it's a just in case I make a mistake, in case something happens. Oh, and there's plasma beam. Speaking of plasma beam, so charged plasma ammo is 100% there now. This became a dream. Doesn't even need those supers with 40 supers. That's just Ridley murder mode.
Yeah, so Nevdi looking like he's in the driver's seat at this point. I think one of the I'm trying to think of ways that Diddy could get himself back into this race. Finding
Finding
gravity
gravity.
would be huge. And it does look like Diddy's going to check criteria power bomb, so Diddy's not going to get orphan charge beam here, which is really good.
Yeah, finding a different route and finding gravity before Nevdi. That's really the only way.
Yeah, the only problem is there's just not another route that makes sense, right? We haven't seen wrecked ship, we haven't seen the transition there. Upper Norfair seems like just about the only play available to Diddy. So he's just kind of, as you said before, kind of chasing Nevdi a little bit.
It just seems like it's, or as random as this is, it's actually been very linear.
Nevdi finding our first Meridia transition at a pre-lava dive. Or Gravitron, as some people like to say. I find anytime anyone goes through that door, I have to use like 4 different names for it.
Diddy is going to get this plasma right away. Going to be really happy to see that.
Nevdi checking the Croc escape item. Looks like Nevdi wants to full clear Upper Norfair. And probably check the transitions at the top of Business Center.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely an area you want to be able to see, want to be able to check out. There's not that many checks up here. We haven't seen Cathedral yet. Did not get that. Did not get that quick kill.
Let's theory craft here a little bit. Let's say you're Nevdi. Let's say you go to the top of Business Center and you find Croc with 1 major. Do you do Croc or do you leave him behind?
Ooh, you know, I think you leave him behind. I think it's. I think at this point, what other than gravity, what do you need? And literally could win the game with what he has, even without gravity. And Croc is such a large area. Oh, there's the last major. Just bombs.
I think you could make an argument that speed and ice could also be items that could potentially save time, depending on how confident you are in suitless Crystal Flash clip. You want that bottoon access. I think you want it easier than risking a long, protracted set of attempts. But I agree. There's not too many items that are worth. But at this point, we're really down to 4 majors left, 5 counting X-ray.
Right, after being 20 minutes in with only 3 majors, now suddenly we're 12 minutes in and there's only 5 majors left to collect. And of those 5, there's really only... No, actually, I'd take X-ray in a heartbeat right now, because that would mean I could microwave.
And we've gotten almost all of our majors, and we haven't seen a boss yet, although that is about to change.
Now, who do we see?
My money's on Fantoon.
All right, chat, who do you think we're going to see? I'm going to go with Dragon. Yeah.
Smart money was on Dragon. And we do have those high jump boots now. We were talking earlier about, grapple escape, and which I'm sure Nevdi's comfortable with, and high jump just makes it that much easier.
Yeah, and even if not, spring ball is a thing.
Yep, double spring ball jump will get you out of the room as well. I'm definitely
trick,
not good at double spring ball. I can do 1.
But a runner like Nevdi, someone who runs quite a few of these randomizers, it would almost come second nature. Does get this early grapple kill.
Just a
Beautifully
textbook
executed.
setup.
Yeah, exactly. Just textbook setup, beautiful execution. Oh, look at this. Oh,
No majors in East Meridia. 0 out of 0. So we're not even going to see the item behind Dragon.
no reason to. It needs no miners at this point. Yeah, and that's if you want to know how to textbook, that could just be clipped and shown as this is how you kill Dragon as fast as possible with the grapple beam. That's it.
Now, what that does imply is that the one item here in Kraid's lair is either behind Kraid or in Kraid's locker room over here. So if it's in Kraid's locker room, there's a good chance our runners never see it.
Just the way this is going, I'm gonna bet it's in Kraid's locker room, so we're never gonna see that item again. All right, here we go. There's Spring Ball. We're seeing it. And 0 majors in West Meridia. Oh, okay. So what areas still have majors that we haven't seen yet?
Lower Norfair has 1 or 2, I believe.
So does Dragon have 2?
Wrecked Ship,
Wrecked Ship we haven't
must
seen.
have some, yeah.
So Croc and Wrecked Ship are holding the rest of our secrets. But nothing major here. That's kind of sad. But again, let's talk about textbook movement. Let's talk about how easy Nevdi is making this spring ball climb look. This is not easy.
I mean, I just assume at this point that Nevdi has gravity suit with the speed that he's moving up this side of the map.
There are runners that would be happy getting up there that fast with gravity.
Diddy losing a little bit of time versus Nevdi's route, checking ice as opposed to checking Cathedral first. Still looking for that last major in Upper Norfair. I will say, kind of, it seems like the runners had 2 choices once they finished Kraid. It's either go in the transition that's right there that leads to Meridia, or turn around and go to Red Tower and do Lower Norfair.
And Diddy won't have to go far for this check, at least. Just be able to open this door and be able to turn around.
And really, that transition takes him to the top of the top of Red Tower. So if Diddy goes up and does Kraid and turns right back around and heads to Lower Norfair, that could be advantageous if gravity is in Lower Norfair.
That could be a way to come back for sure. All right, is gonna go check Cathedral now, find this last major, and we'll get the heck out of this Upper Norfair.
Nevdi, meanwhile, finds the front of Wreck Ship.
So only 1 item in Wreck Ship. That means Croc is probably holding 2. And of the items left, if Croc is holding 2, it's very likely he has either gravity or ice.
Yep, for sure.
All right.
Now, interestingly, this item not going to be able to be checked. I guess it could be at Spooky Missiles. The Spooky Missiles item is there, but none of the other items will spawn in until Fantoon's dealt with.
Unless we have a vanilla Fantoon. There's ice, though. Oh, wow. Yes, Zeb pointing it out. Wreck Ship E is turned on for these. And yeah, this is officially go mode for Nevdi. He has a way right through Batoon. There's no waiting around anymore. No pass and go, no collecting $200, just going right to the end.
Yep. So if Diddy decides to turn around and go to Lower Norfair, it's going to be the race of gravity suit but a slower route versus a faster route but with suitless Meridia. Which personally, I'm kind of hoping for. I hope I see that.
Now we are watching what 32 Supers does to Ridley.
To respond to chat, I don't believe Cack Alley is traversable without gravity. Unless you are a taskbot. I think we saw some runners attempt to go that way. You know, when Boss Rando's on and Dragon's dead, you want to do that to skip Botch Wound when you don't have gravity suit, but you get stuck in that jump.
Lower Norfair had 3 items. And Nevdi made a quick check just because if it was Speed Booster back there behind Ridley, that'd be worth it. I wonder if Nevdi forgot he's just got regular bombs. Oh, actually, the power bomb speeds that transition up a lot faster anyway.
Nevdi opting to save here, which is it's a really heads up play. If the transition in the back of wrecked ship is something like Turian, you lose a lot of time backtracking. So good heads up play to save before heading over to that transition. And the moment of truth, Diddy's going to check this other transition, find Meridia, and have to decide what his play is.
Opting not to do these suitless immediately. So.
All right, I'm rubbing my hands together that Diddy's going to head down to that Croc portal and over to Lower Norfair.
Diddy is thinking.
Now, if this transition, if the transition Nevdi's heading towards is the back of Lower Norfair, that would make a very convenient route for Nevdi.
Well, we are going to see Diddy go for it. There goes that spring ball. So this, for those of you that haven't done this or haven't dealt with this, this is achieved by as you're jumping and morphing into that spring ball. Or if you morph into the spring ball while you're jumping and you get into that pause screen, you're able to turn spring ball back on and jump in the spring ball out of that, even though, you know, it doesn't necessarily make logical sense. But as you can see here, with that spring ball back on, can make that second jump.
Clearly intended speed or sequence breaking tech put in by the devs.
You know, everything that happened this was 100% planned by them, right?
Absolutely.
This is part of why this is my favorite speedrunning game. You know, to watch runners play. This has been ran for, you know, this game came out in mid 90s. We are still watching runners find new tactics, new ways of running things, faster ways of doing things, and it's constantly getting better and better and better, and it's absolutely amazing to watch.
100% agree. Nevdi finding... Oh, go ahead.
Diddy's going to check this other transition, which I don't believe we've seen.
I think we did. It was the back of East Meridia. Nevdi checking all of the locations in the back of Norfair and finding only X-ray, so still 2 outstanding checks in Lower Norfair.
This does mean if this boss he's walking into is Fantoon, Well, with his last two bosses that he gets to fight, when he gets to Fantoon, microwave is active. Oh, speaking of microwave, yep, right before the space pirates, he gets the microwave beam. Perfect timing.
Especially since he's running a little low on super missiles.
So that that beam is, you use charge and plasma, you charge it up, and then as soon as you release that charge beam, you toggle your X-ray as fast as possible, and it allows the beam to damage over and over and over again.
It basically eliminates the iframes that a beam would normally convey to an enemy. So you just do damage per frame.
Speaking of Fantoon, we're gonna watch microwave calamari happen in a second here. There it is. And we have a dead space ghost. Nevdi just murdered that poor octopus in his home.
Well, it's home away from home, Lower North Fair.
True. He was on vacation and he got killed.
Not how you want to spend your vacation.
I mean, I suppose there are worse places, but I'm not sure how many could be worse.
Diddy finding the ice beam, so knows there's no other items in wrecked ship.
We still haven't seen Turian. Is Turian the other side of Lower Norfair?
If I were a betting man, and I am, I would say Turian is at Cube in Red Brinstar. My guess is that East Meridia connects to Croc, but those could also be flipped. I think those are the only three transitions we haven't seen. So one of Red Brinstar or East Meridia Aqueduct will connect to Croc, and one of them will connect to Turian. Either way, a little trolly, but if East Meridia works out to be Turian, it's a very good routing since that's the last boss our runners have to fight. Meanwhile, Nevdi taking this lava dive. Ooh, taking a hit here and deciding to reset.
If you are Diddy and you get to Lower Norfair, oh yeah, Nevdi's making the lava dive. He's going that route. Okay.
Yeah, if he doesn't, he's got to backtrack all the way through Wrecked Ship, all the way through Suitless West Meridia, and he knows, or at least he should know, logically, because Kraid is in Meridia, gravity has to be at GT, one of those GT items, or in Mickey Mouse. So Nevdi taking the heads-up save to save himself a lot of potential time.
Yeah, that could have been back-breaking without the save.
Diddy again, heading to the back of Wrecked Ship. Still kind of chasing Nevdi's path as well.
Yeah, we had a little route diversion for a bit there, but... So is GT holding all the secrets?
That's the way it's looking. Question is, will we actually have to fight GT, or will it be that fun Chozo statue right behind him?
Well, since there's two left.
I mean, one of them has to be on the other side. The question is it the important one, or is it the not important one?
I mean, the only thing that I don't consider that important right now would be Wave. I could go without Wave if I get... Well, even gravity isn't all that, like, important now. I mean, obviously the damage reduction is good, but unnecessary for these runners. Really, we're looking for speed, right?
But at the same time, yes, I agree. I think Nevdi is probably worried that Diddy came to Lower Norfair first instead of going through Meridia, and so therefore would have this gravity suit. So I think he absolutely wants to get gravity suit to potentially offset that potential time loss.
And their speed. There's just some missiles. Diddy ignores the trash can back there.
Nevdi taking advantage of Golden Trizo's blind spot, making quick work with that charged plasma.
So behind Kraid is either, yep, there's that gravity. Yep. GT.
We've got what,
all the things.
We've got a 50% chance of seeing Wave Beam in this seed.
Yes. It might be the abandoned item if it doesn't get checked. If it's in the closet, we're never gonna see it. If it's behind Kraid, we will. Did he also find in this X-ray right before? Yeah, but it just seems like unless Diddy decides not to check GT and just moves forward, is not going to make up any time at all. Even then, by not having speed, that's a big time loss.
Yeah, you probably make up the time. Well, I don't know if you make up that time elsewhere with speed. Because, I mean, there's not that much of the game really left. There's two potential entrances to Turian. One is Tube, and one is the front of East Meridia. I don't believe our runners have broken the Tube yet. One of them's Croc, one of them is Turian. Two dead ends.
Diddy's gonna be happy he found that X-ray coming right here in his Fantoon fight.
Yep, we'll be seeing a cooked ghost here shortly.
Yep, a second dose of microwave calamari, which I would never recommend.
Ugh. That's scarier than the fact that he's a ghost.
Well, I mean, I did just spend a few hours playing Phasmophobia, so ghosts, you know, kind of come desensitized to them tonight.
Did he just missing the charge as Fantoon came back onto the screen? Not this time, though.
They get a nice fast on that second attempt. Stack showing us that fun tune emote from Zost.
Nevdi opting not to check Red Brinstar and just head straight into the back of East Meridia, which is probably the safe play. Once you beat the boss, you can check Aqueduct. If it's Turian, great. If not, you got to backtrack a little bit. You got to go to East Meridia either way, so... I guess thinking back, there'd be no reason to go back down Red Tower. For some reason, I thought there was a transition at the bottom that you could have checked it quickly, but no, not in this route.
Nope. So we're gonna see the runners have to search. This is the longest I think I've seen in a seed without finding Turian.
Yep, when it's one of those last checks, it's always fun because it almost turns into a 50-50. In this case, the decision is kind of made for our runners to check the front of East Meridia first, but other times it can be long divergences. Like if you were missing a portal back in Criteria, meme route maybe, versus something else somewhere else, it's not a good feeling having to make that 50-50 choice.
There was one of the weeks I saw Kraid was meme route. Oh, we're not gonna see, because it's just wave that's left. We're not gonna see that item behind Kraid.
Nope.
Not gonna know if it's in the closet or if Kraid was hiding it.
2 door transitions, not worth it for Nevdi, even if it's wave. The only time save would be just mother brain damage, really. So,
I mean, at this point, no reason to even worry about it. Just needs to run to that finish line, go find Mother Brain, and tear down that evil queen.
yep. And meanwhile, Diddy, successfully making that lava dive on his first attempt, is on the hunt for those last 2 major items in Lower Norfair.
Do you enjoy seeing Diddy's use of the spring ball through here? I love seeing spring ball used as a proper movement item.
Nevdi finding Croc. So, Tube in Red Bryn Star. It seems like Tube houses Turian a disproportionate number of times. I've seen several seeds where Tube has been Turian.
Now, if you're Diddy and you got this, do you just go?
I think so. I don't think you fight GT. I don't think it matters what he's got. You've got ice, you can get past Botchwoon. You've got gravity suit now, you don't even need to fight Botchwoon.
So that is some time savings for Diddy.
And we will see if that time savings makes a difference. Nevdi, meanwhile, making his way out of East Meridia with all due haste. Should know where the last transition is, but we'll see. It's not out of the realm of possibility that, you know, a runner could get lost. I think we've seen a few times during the Swiss weeks where you get to this point, you think you've checked all of your transitions, you're double checking your map as you go, and you just can't see that one spot with all those crossed lines over it that hasn't been checked.
And that's something, in case you're new to watching this, the runners typically will have a tracker where they're tracking the map, they're tracking all these door transitions that are bringing them in different locations, so that let's be real, as you're running the race, there's times you forget. Nevdi's checking right now. Nevdi just took a second to check.
Yep, double checking, making sure, probably finding the fastest route to where Nevdi wants to go. Yeah, which, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be Crab Shaft. Yeah, Crab Shaft to single chamber to meme route? Well, I guess single chamber takes you to Moat, takes you to the vanilla Turian entrance, which takes you to the bottom of Green Brinstar to Green Brinstar meme route to my gosh, this is a long trek for Nevdi. And
Yes,
really
it
for
is.
both of our runners.
As we see Diddy coming through West Meridia here. Now a much easier movement through here with that gravity suit. No need for all those spring ball jumps now.
Probably a welcome change for the revisit. Diddy, having seen that back of East Meridia entrance, knows exactly where it's at. Oh, this takes you to the middle of Red Brinstar. That's right. That is going to be faster. Nevdi, while playing, routing better than an observer with a full map sitting right in front of them. And that's why Nevdi is undefeated.
Definitely gonna be one of the favorites. Not just, here, but, assuming, but if he gets through this week, will be one of the favorites to win the whole tournament. Just play like we've seen tonight. The routing choices, and the movements are all a big part of it. Not to take anything away from how Diddy's ran this race. Diddy's movement has been, like, again, as I said earlier, the level of the runners is higher and higher and higher. We've seen phenomenal movement from both players. Yes, we are getting game 2 after this, and game 3 would be right after if needed.
Super Metroid into the wee hours of the morning, or afternoon, depending on what part of the world you're in.
Hey, Count, have you actually seen what the price structure is for this lately? I'm not
Sorry,
sure.
say that again.
You know what the current price structure is for this tournament? I haven't seen it in a while.
That's a good question. I believe there is a prize pool. I believe one of the members of the community put together an SNES modded contraption. I'd have to actually read the description to do it justice, but it sounded like a wonderful prize.
A modded SNES. And then there's a $100 donation from me, a $500 donation from a couple of other people, and then I know there was a blind 500, anonymous $500 donation as well. There's a decent prize pool. I'm not exactly, the current prize pool is $1,150 split. I'm not sure how they're splitting it yet.
Yeah, so the prize pool, according to the official rules, first place will get 40% of the total cash prize pool and that modded SNES console we talked about, and then 30, 20, and 10% for second, third, and fourth.
Okay.
But I'm going to be honest, I'd be surprised if many of the runners enter this tournament for the prize pool. It really feels, and this is one of the reasons I love the Super Metroid community. It really feels like the runners are here primarily because of the love of the game, right?
Oh,
I mean,
100%.
this is why this game has endured for as long as it has.
There's a reason that there is a comms team at 2 o'clock in the morning, U.S. comms people at 2 o'clock in the morning, covering this race for our European runners.
Also, I'd just like to point out that Diddy found Croc and opted to give him one plasma shot to the face to kill him, and then exited. Just showing Croc exactly what he thought of him being behind that East Meridia transition.
I mean, that's just perfect, right? Slow guy pointing out, I didn't even know there were prizes when I signed up, when I joined. Yeah, I think you're right. It's definitely a community of love. I mean, the amount of time that the organizers took to put this together, the 82 racers that joined, the number of commentators, and more importantly, trackers, and the SG Live staff that have helped out. It's a lot of just love of speedrunning in general, especially. But this game, I feel like is something extra special.
Could not agree more.
I feel like some of the other games become overly super competitive at the top ranks, where like you can see the camaraderie between a Zost and a Zenny, who are clearly the two top runners in the world, but they are great friends. They collaborated together on their 2-player run of this, which is unreal. And then you have members of that community like Behe and Floaters and all those, just those names that you see at the top of those leaderboards. Coach just fell out of bed.
Yeah, and that's also part of the problem with the Super Metroid community. There's so many talented runners. You just can't name them all and list them as, the best. Although there is a pretty elite crew.
Oh, for sure. And
but
and now we're watching those runners too start to expand. And Oach just had that another run running Super Metroid Impossible, or Super Metroid Kaizo or whatever, that he just ran at one of the GDQs. So just exposure of the game's been great too.
Sure, for sure. And I think this has really just been a roundabout way of saying, give some love to our runners, give some love to our tournament organizers. They put in a lot of work. Clearly, our runner skill is up there, unparalleled. And give those tournament organizers some love too, and our SG Live staff, tracker staff. None of this would be possible without them either. So just spread some love around, either on Twitch or just join the Discord and say hi.
Absolutely. So I just put in the chat, give the runners a follow. Give, if you'd like to give myself or Count or Stack follow, we'd love it. Stack has been tracking this race. It's going to be tracking all of these races, and the trackers are so incredibly important in these randomizers. They're really the MVPs behind the scenes. It's really, there's times that we're thinking about so many different things as comms that we just kind of forget, like, oh, this other thing's happening.
Diddy just executing what is probably my favorite fall of the game, getting to screw attack all the way down Red Tower. It's also fun as the Moonfall. While Nevdi just does the final Moonfall of the game, as Nevdi races towards the finish in the escape. Yeah, stop saying comms is literally the easiest thing in the process. That's absolutely right. If I can comm, it's definitely the easiest part of the process. And let's get some GGs in chat for Nevdi.
100%.
Finishing in first place.
Well, in this best of 3.
In this best of 3. Yep. And because Nevdi deferred on the mode choice for game 1, Nevdi will pick the mode type which week. Weeks 1 through 6. That's week 7. Can't pick the same week twice. So we will be seeing one of those other weeks in the next match.
Absolutely. So there will be no interviews in between rounds, partially for time, but also so the runners can have a little bit of a break before they start their second race, because we're gonna not wait forever. We're gonna see, with Diddy in Turian, we'll probably finish this out.
Opting to do the baby skip. I was about to say we can look at Nevdi's screen real quick to see the placement of items, but we saw them all.
Yes.
Or could at least deduce
Actually, no.
the last location.
We still don't. We didn't know if Wave was in behind Crate or in Crate's closet. That's the only thing we didn't know.
All right, what do we think, chat? Behind Crate or Crate's closet? Oh, Diddy did check it. That's right. It was Crate's closet.
And even this time, you know, Diddy's gonna finish what, around 1:15?
Yeah, that seems about right.
1:15,
Factor in the
1:16.
cutscenes.
Yeah.
Opting to just ammo down these Zebs. You've got plenty of it. Slows down on those missiles, make sure they don't get eaten by the little turret shots. I've seen racers lose races on tight ammo to those turrets eating their super missiles.
They can be quite annoying. And now we're watching that full beam combo. Well, not full beam combo. We don't have Wave, but that charged plasma does more than enough damage to make this a much quicker fight. Although I probably unload my super. Well, once I have my shot count in, I unload my supers once we get to catch-up phase. For those of you who don't know, we call these blue rings that are coming out onion rings. Those little bombs that come out we call our meatballs, and there's the ketchup.
Mother Brain does one more little lightning bolt looking attack straight out that we call mustard. All food and condiment themes for Mother Brain.
Well, and my favorite thing they call gravity is the pancake stack.
I think we just have a lot of food motivated community members. That's my theory.
Gamers tend to eat a lot. Yeah, Storm, I thought the same thing.
I've always heard it called mustard. I don't know.
You know, that might just be one that's player specific.
Yeah. We do need to agree on some terms. Otherwise, we're going to be looking at a lava dive gravitron situation. What's the other name? Chronic Boost Portal?
Yes. Well, we got the certain players, certain things are named after now. Like,
I think is a nice honorary. You know, you find a super impactful trick in a particular room. I like the idea that you're going to get it named after you.
the Hodaruby special, the Behe Spark.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, Chronic Boost is it's the door into Lava Dive.
The only player I'm surprised doesn't have a move named after him is Zost and Zenny. Do they have anything named after them yet?
I'm not sure they have it named after them. I think they've created tricks that have specific names in specific parts of the game, but I'm not sure if they have one named after them.
But the one round Fantoon that Zenny's had like 38 of now. Which is incredible.
Yeah, boggles the mind.
To put that into clarity, or out there for people that don't necessarily know this as well, you're a really good runner if you can clear Fantoon in 2 rounds. Oh, here's a difference we're seeing. So without speed, this escape is much slower because you have to take all the way through this room. And that means the climb, you actually have to climb.
I will say I do enjoy when players don't have speed, that they can just run up that those little steps that look like steps, but it's actually a ramp. That always tickles me for some reason. Probably gonna see a left side climb. What do you think?
Nope,
right side. Proven wrong once more before the end of the run.
Probably is just more used to this for like early game climb.
Yeah, makes sense.
And Simo, sleep is for the weak. And get your GGs in chat ready for Diddy, who is finishing with an official race time GG of 1:15:40.
GG's to Diddy.
That 8 minutes is definitely eaten up in some of that routing, which can be brutal. It can make a huge difference.
I personally would have loved to have seen what an early lower Norfair play would have looked like, but I think the runners really made the best choices they had available to them at the time. So I think it was a good race, and I'm excited to see what comes in race number 2.
I as well.
However, I will be signing off of comms. Vincent is going to be sticking around for everyone. There's going to be a short break as our runners kind of stretch their legs, hydrate, and get ready for race number 2. So I'm going to be signing off, but you are being left in good hands again with Vincent. And signing on to join Vincent is going to be some late night Cephi comms. So buckle up. You guys are in for a ride. Vincent, any last thoughts before we close out this first race and move on to the second?
No, it's been great doing comms with you again. Really hope that we can work together again in the future. We got to watch a good run here and a great race. Wish you could stick around, but I understand life takes preference. So
and we can't deprive the public of Cephi. Cephi needs to be heard sometimes.
Well, and this will be great for me because I'm doing this with Cephi tonight, and we've got the Arfaloo Sloters matchup together tomorrow as well,
which is also going to be a rockin' match.
So, all right.
All right. Well, SpeedGaming, enjoy the rest of the series, and we'll see you on the other side. Have a good night, everybody.
All right, Count. You have a great one.